Hi, this is James from Square Internet with another WordPress tutorial. In this video I'm going to be giving you a really quick introduction to the Visual Composer page builder, which is one of the most commonly used page builders for WordPress themes. You can download Visual Composer for free from the Visual Composer website. You can also get a free Visual Composer theme from the Visual Composer website. I believe Visual Composer is now known as WPBakery Page Builder. I think they went for a rebrand or a purchase or something recently, but you can still get Visual Composer for free and the theme from their website. I'm using the free Visual Composer theme, so it's a very stripped down theme. Don't be put off if you're not seeing all of the kind of nuts and bolts and functionality that your premium WordPress theme has. All of the teachings and content in this video are still relevant and can be followed to the letter within your theme if you're using Visual Composer. So I'm going to dive right in and let's find a page that we can use to play around with. So I've set up a blank page here and I'm going to click Edit with Visual Composer. So this is the pure Visual Composer interface. A lot of WordPress themes you won't actually have to take this step, and you'll be able to insert all of these Visual Composer elements from the previous page within the actual WordPress page editor. So it doesn't matter whether you're using a theme that takes you to this page or allows you to use Visual Composer within the previous page. It's all the same. It's all the same Visual Composer and it works all the same. What I want to do really quickly is get rid of this page title. Because I've got a stripped down theme and it hasn't got much in terms of the customizer options, I'm just going to use a quick CSS hack just to get rid of that, so we've got a really blank page. I'm just going to locate the class name and hide it. So that should just get rid of that just for this video. Okay, yep. So I'm going to reload this. Just a second. Okay, so that's gone. So let's just take a really quick look at some of the basics. So setting up the page structure is really easy in Visual Composer, and it all revolves around using the row and column system. So a row, think of a row as it's a box for your content, and a row has other boxes inside it called columns. So what I'm going to do is I want to put some content in the middle of my page. I want to put something really simple, a heading, a text block and a button. That's the only content that I want horizontally in this section of the screen. So I'm going to use a row with one column that fills up the width of the screen like this. And if you wanted to do it from here, you could just click to add row. And so now I've got a row here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in a text block to my row by clicking add element here. Okay, so as I said, I've got a simple one column row here with a text block, and what we have over here is the editor section where I can play around with the text, I can style it, I can view, add in bits of inline code if I need to. All I want to do is set this to H1 and I want to center it. I might make that bold as well, because I haven't got any default style set up. I'm going to change this text out for Introduction to Visual Composer 101, which will now be reflected on my page. And I'm going to change this text This is a really quick introduction to Visual Composer by James Thomas on Square Internet. If you find it useful for future videos, don't forget to subscribe. And I also want to center this text too, just so everything looks uniform. Okay, so that's the text. That's nice and easy. I want to add a button now, so that I'm going to prompt my users to take action after they've landed on this page. They've seen what it's about. There's a bit of info backing it up there. So I'd now logically want them to take some action or go somewhere else or do something. So this is how you add in a button. It's a really simple and easy to do process using Visual Composer. So just to go through a few of these bits. So this is where you can change the text on the button. So if we wanted to change this to subscribe now, I could. The link selection is where you can set a link for your button. So I could set the link to go to Google if I wanted to, my website if I wanted to, and then adding a title will be displayed when you hover over the link. So like so. It's not going to show me, oh, it is showing me in the bottom left there, squareinternet.co. And then you can also really easily play around with where the button sits with the alignment button, which is going to be your best friend for loads of stuff. So the default's usually set to left. You can put it over here on the right. I want it to be center aligned to fit neatly with the rest of my content. You can set the shape. So right now it's set to a flat button, which is, flat design's been quite popular for a while. You can round the edges by setting it to rounded, or you can create a round button design if you want to go for something a bit more creative, a bit cool. It's entirely up to you. You can play with the size of the button from the size selector. Really simple and straightforward. I think I'm going to go with medium. Looks nice and neat. You can stretch the button to fill the whole column. I don't think I'm going to do that though. And here you can determine what the button looks like. So I don't actually think that fits the design of the site. I don't really have any, but everything's black at the moment. So yeah, I think that looks a bit cooler. Just to set that to black. Maybe that one, yeah. If you have Google Chrome, you can use a color picker tool to pick hex codes and colors that you like off different websites and use those. You would just copy the hex code and paste it in here. You can play around with hover effects, which otherwise would require CSS. So when I hover over the button, I could have it go any color that I like. You could inverse the colors. So actually that's not going to work against the white background, but I could make it go gray. I could make the text go black, like that. And then you have the option on pretty much every element in Visual Composer to give it an ID or to add a class name to it. So if you wanted to go a step further in custom CSS, I could do this. I could call it my home button, like this. And because I've now assigned it a class, I can refer to that class in my CSS and add custom styles to it. So I'm just going to save this for now. Might come back to that home button in a second. So really simple and straightforward. We've got a simple homepage section now with a header, some text and a button. Really quickly, I'll go over spacing. Again, something that's really important, and the sooner you can grasp spacing and padding and margins and how they work, the better. It will help you loads in building and designing your own websites and using Visual Composer. So from the edit section on the row, which you can also use on the column and any elements within Visual Composer, this pulls up some design and styling options. So say for example we had we wanted to add some padding to this row, and just really quickly, for those of you that don't know, the box model gives you a good example of how it works. So talked earlier about this being a box, so you can see faintly the outline of this box here, the little grey dots. So the way the box model works for CSS and web design is that there are three parts to it. So there's padding, border and margin. So if you wanted to add spacing between the outside of the box and the content on the inside, we'd add padding like this. So you can see it's moving around as I do this because I'm telling the box I want to add some spacing between the content and the edge of the box. You can see now it's not where it was, right on the edge of the box. If you wanted to add a border around the box like this, you could. Doesn't look that bad actually. And margin will put space between the edge of the box and the outside of the box. So if I add 60 pixels of margin to the top of this box, it's going to move away from this content up here. It's basically going to push the box down the page like this. I'll add 100 just to show you. So there you can see what the margin's done, but I don't want to do that, so I'm just going to leave that there for now. You can also set the border style to whichever you like: solid, dashed, dotted, double, groove. Well, there's tons of stuff you can do with the border, but I'm just going to leave that as it is for now. Other two important things to really quickly look at. You can set the row to be full height, so it will fill the entire height of the browser, like so. Setting columns to equal height, again, is something really important. If we had 2 or 3 columns in this box and the different bits of content, setting the columns to equal height will just help us achieve a bit of uniformity, so that everything is in line. We can set the content position within the row. Currently it's set to be at the top. You can set it to be in the middle of the row or the bottom of the row. It's not going to do much at the moment because there's not much going on in the row. But that's something to perhaps look at for future videos. I think that's enough on the box model and the basics of padding and spacing for now, so I'll just leave that there. Now if I refresh my page, you can see we've got my row there. I actually think that's not looking... okay, it looks quite good, but I think it needs some margin on the bottom, so I'm just going to do this. I might double that just so it looks a bit better. Okay, yeah, that's kind of sitting a bit better in the page now. So everything that we've just done in Visual Composer is now being reflected on the page, and that was really simple and straightforward. So you can see right away how easy it can be to create simple designs using Visual Composer. Bearing in mind this has got no styling on it whatsoever, so most WordPress themes will allow you to set up default styles so that your headings, your buttons, everything comes pre-styled with colors, font sizes, fonts. You can add imagery to your site. I'll show you something you can do that's quite easy for a bit of DIY design. So I'm going to show you a bit on icons. Which use flat icon, which is built in for free to a lot of WordPress themes. Sorry, Font Awesome, not Flat Icon. Flat Icon's another place you can download vectors and icons and free icons. This uses the Font Awesome icon library. I'm just trying to find an icon that's suitable for this video. I mean, I guess the video symbol is fine because I'm recording a video. Again, you can see it's using this similar structure to the other elements in Visual Composer. You've got the box model down here where you can apply padding and border and margin to the element. You can add classes to it. It's got the alignment section again. It's got the colors, the size. So it's a similar setup and structure that you'll get used to and pick up with time. I don't want any color on this, so I'm just going to get rid of that. I'm going to change the icon color to that same color I was using on my button. That's kind of small, so I'm going to make that a bit bigger. I'm going to center it like that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to clone this icon. So if you remember, I was showing you how you can use the edit options on rows, columns, and elements. The clone option comes along with the edit, the design options, the remove, and the move. So I'm just going to clone this quickly and move it into this column. We'll clone that again, move this over here. And I'm going to add a little bit of text. Let's set this to heading 4. Let's center all this text. Visual Composer tip 1. You can edit the rows and columns using the edit option. Let's just clone this like we cloned the icons. I'll move this text block over here. Just edit this text. Tip 2. You can clone things in Visual Composer. Isn't it great? Like so. Let's clone this again. Move this over here. And I'm going to edit the text. This video isn't as short as I thought it would be. I better stop soon. So, as you can see, that's really easy, simple and straightforward to do. I'm just going to save that and refresh my page. Oh. As you can see, now our page is starting to take shape. So we've got our 1 column row up here, and now we've got a 3 column row down here using some simple icons through Font Awesome and a simple heading text format. I might just add a bit of padding onto this row again, just so, I'm not padding, a bit of margin, just so that it is uniform. Yeah, that looks a bit better. So, yeah, nice and simple and straightforward, and we've got a nice clean page starting to take shape. You can just imagine what it would look like if I had a simple logo there and a menu up here and a footer. This is the structure for a really simple page. So, this section is usually referred to as the Jumbotron, and often it takes up the full width of the page, and it just uses this simple format of header, text, button with some imagery and some styling. Down here, these might be the features on the home page. So if this section explains who you are, what the page is about, this might explain how you do it, or some selling points for your business. You could then have a section down here, a call to action row with some striking text and a contact us form. And you can see how your page would begin to take shape with a bit of structure planning, and then applying your styles, making sure that everything was branded and styled accordingly to your business and your style guidelines. I know I said this would be a short introduction to Visual Composer, but it actually took about 20 minutes, just for that short amount of content. So I'm guessing I'm going to have to do quite a long video at some point on Visual Composer, giving you a bit more of a thorough dive into Visual Composer. Perhaps I'll create a whole page, a simple one-page website from scratch for you, and I'll create the menu, the footer, and add some styling in too. Hopefully you found this video useful. and it gave you a bit of an introduction to Visual Composer, maybe gave you a bit of confidence on using Visual Composer. Make sure you subscribe for future videos. I'm going to be doing a lot more videos in the coming weeks, including some specific videos on particular industries and niches on how to create the best websites for those industries. If there's anything specific you want to see me cover, please just let me know in the comments or drop me an email. Thank you once again for watching, and hopefully I'll see you on the next video.